Hello students, in this video we will talk about JavaScript functions. JavaScript functions are fundamental blocks in writing our programs. Like any other programming language, functions play a very significant role in bringing efficiency to our programs. And you already know functions are a block of code that can be executed at any point of our program. This is the general syntax of using functions in JavaScript. We use the keyword function followed by a function name and followed by its parameters. And like any other function body, we will open it with a parenthesis and we will write a block of code here. This is a proper example, and if you observe carefully, in the parameters we need not give a type. We can directly use a variable name as a parameter, and this is the calling function. Here in calling function we are passing the parameter, the actual value Alice. In this example I am passing a name called Alice, and this reaches name and it will be printed here. Very simple. One thing you need to keep in mind is you have to use the keyword function before you define your function. Now function expression. JavaScript provides us with a very unique feature where we can include our function in an expression. So it's like assigning your function to a variable. Like here we use constant, we use const type followed by a variable, and we are assigning a function and its parameters along with its block to this variable. And how return statements behave in functions of JavaScript. We can optionally keep a return statement and it can return a value to its caller. Then when return is executed, the function stops and returns the value. Okay, the role of return is similar to the functions of other programming languages. Now how void functions behave when it comes to return type. Functions without a return statement or with an empty return implicitly return undefined. Okay, so the function that has nothing to return will implicitly return undefined. So this is about the return statement. Now things get interesting with arrow functions. Arrow functions are unique and they are very exclusive to JavaScript. Arrow functions, in short, you can call them as anonymous functions. Okay. Here if you look at the syntax, we directly write the parameters followed by an arrow and followed by its block. Okay, so this is the syntax for arrow functions, and if you observe carefully, we do not have a function name here. Okay, so we can also have a single line body. See, here it is clearly mentioned expressions for a single line that implicitly returns the expression. In the coming slides we will look at a few examples. So what is the benefit? What is the benefit of using an arrow function? The first benefit is it is more concise, and it does not bind their own dot this, making them ideal for use in callbacks. We will get to know what callbacks are. Callbacks also are a kind of functions which we will learn in the coming slides. Now where do we apply arrow functions? Arrow functions are preferably used in non-method functions, okay, especially in inline functions and callbacks. And there is a wide application of arrow functions in the futuristic technologies like React.js and other front-end web development scripting languages, they use arrow functions very extensively. Higher order functions. Higher order functions, or in short HOF, they are functions that are passed as arguments or returned as return value of another functions. Okay, see here it's clearly mentioned, functions that take other functions as arguments or return functions as their results. For example, dot map, dot filter, dot reduce are higher order functions that operate on arrays exclusively. Okay. Now, where can we implement this? They can be implemented for designing specific patterns such as event handlers or asynchronous operations. Okay. The next slides, they deal exclusively with higher order functions. Okay. Now, let us talk about callback functions. Callback function. These functions are passed as arguments to another function. Okay. And they are executed after some operations has been completed. It depends on the block of code. Okay. So, if you see a function as an argument of another function, then you can say it is a callback. Now, where do we use extensively? We use it in asynchronous operations, useful in handling operations like reading files, network requests, and etc. Callbacks have very wide application. They can be used extensively in asynchronous operations. So, this is an example for callback function. Here we have a function called greeting and its parameter is name. Okay, this is its body where we are using an alert method to prompt hello plus name. So, here we are expecting a name, and if you observe below, we have another function called process user input, and here I have mentioned callback. If you observe carefully, I am passing callback with the parameter name. So, this portion is an argument to another function. So, that is the use of callback. Here I am taking a dynamic input using prompt, please enter your name, and I am passing name as a parameter to a callback calling function. So, process user input greeting, and if you observe, this is the callback function. The first function is a parameter to the second function. Okay, I'm keeping it very simple in order to understand better, but they have a much complex and larger applications, and when you practice in during your lab, you will get to understand more about callbacks. Thank you.